What's up, Avengers? Man, this update, yeah, should have been coming earlier, but here we are, months 6 and 7. Yeah, I want to send an update and yeah, go through kind of what my life has looked like the past half year and honestly just say what's up to y'all. It's like it's been a while. But before we get started, wanted to apologize for the poor video quality and my poor videoing equipment. My phone is kind of maxed out on storage, and so we're currently filming this on my laptop, hence the poor quality. But there's worse things in life, and hopefully things go smoothly. But yeah, we'll just start off and just I want to say thank you guys. All right, let's get started. My schedule in my life. This schedule has remained relatively true for the past 6 months since I started language learning, but this is what it looks like. I wake up around 7:30. I eat a banana and drink a glass of water. Not sure if I needed to share that, but that's seriously what I do every single morning. And then I just get in the word. I spend about an hour, yeah, just getting into word, preparing my mind and my soul for the day. Around 8:30, 8:40-ish, I start to wrap things up and get ready to head out. Head out around 8:50-ish, 9. This is also kind of the same time that everyone else is going to work. So I am slammed up against a wall inside of a train because every other person's going to work. Language class goes from 9:30 to 12:30. It's a 3-hour class. Every hour, there's a 10-minute break. Um, so it's kind of broken into three sections. First section, kanji, which is the one of the three alphabets of Japanese, which is the one based off of Chinese characters, which is over 500,000 characters. This is a picture per word. You memorize about four a day. At least that's the hopes. After that hour of just kanji review, writing down kanji, all these things, you take a break and then you kind of review vocab and sentence structures that you've studied the previous week, or the previous day. That's kind of that hour you spend kind of talking, practicing, reviewing the things that you've done. And then at the end of that hour section, you introduce that day's new language structure, grammar structure, whatever it is. Then after that second break, you come back, and third session is just a grind. You're there combining your new vocab with new sentence structures, new conjugations, and you're just wheeling and dealing. And let me tell you, you get exposed. You guys would probably be doing a lot better than I would, but there are days where I'm sitting there and I'm getting lit up. But I mean, that's a great way to learn, and that's kind of what real life is out here is you either know or you don't. And it's pretty obvious when you don't know it. But yeah, I've had some amazing senseis. Classmates have been amazing. I've really been loving the language school I'm going to. And yeah, we can talk more about that. But after class gets out at 12:30, lunchtime, I'm either making something. My go-to has been like 6 or 7, legitimately 6 or 7 eggs. That's not even playing. 6 or 7, sometimes 8 eggs, with rice, and some sort of like protein. And I just be eating that every single day. And then I'll go to a cafe and just grind homework, kanji review, sentence practice, whatever it is. And then throughout my days, I'll either have a meeting or sometimes I'll meet up with a student. But after that, I'm always getting around 2 hours. The goal is at least 2 hours of language practice outside of class every day. So the goal is at least 5 hours of language, including class every single day. And then from there, after homework and after meeting or doing whatever throughout the day, we kind of go through dinner time. Again, I'm coming home. I'm not the best cook, but we're scrounging things together. But sometimes we'll be going out to eat with staff people or friends, or yeah, I feel like there's always something going on in the evenings. Yeah, then I'm kind of wrapping up the day, winding down the night with my roommate Matt. Currently, we're rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and yeah, it's getting good. So we'll just wind down the night with that and just honestly enjoy the night. And then hit the hay around 11. That's the goal. Asleep by 11:30, and then we just get back after it the next day. So that's what my days have been looking like here. My Sabbath is Saturday. Those are the days I spend sleeping in, getting more extended time in the Word, just chilling. And then also throughout the week, I'm also, yeah, throwing in a workout or two or a bike ride or whatever. I'm trying to stay active out here. Yeah, I wanted to just kind of share quick updates on how I've personally been doing. Um, yeah, I just want to be transparent with you guys on, yeah, how I've been. I mean, not every day is sunshine and rainbows. But first, emotionally, I think a consistent theme over this first half year has been learning more about my emotions. Kind of hard to really explain, but I think it does partially make sense. I'm 24, about to turn 25. I guess my brain isn't still fully developed, but I've gone through this huge life change and there's a lot of new emotions that have come with that and a lot of new thoughts and just things mentally that I think are sometimes hard to put into words. But God really has been walking me through just a new part of how He's made me and revealing how, yeah, where my tendencies are and how I react to change or good things or bad things. And yeah, I think sometimes it's hard to label those emotions because I've never felt them before. Um, but it has been amazing to have a team that has gone through those similar things and help kind of put words to feeling. So that's been amazing. Um, yeah, next up we can go into physical. First thing I got here, I was losing weight. And y'all, I ain't got no weight to lose. Just a lot of moving around. Portions are small. I was still trying to be active, so was losing weight. Not good. But yeah, since I've just been slamming eggs and rice basically and hitting a protein shake every morning, I'm like, we've been maintaining and slowly but surely growing. I've been averaging around 7.5 hours of sleep a night, which I wish was more, truthfully, but it's been doing the trick. So there's no need to, I guess, fully change it. So that's physical area. Everything's been good. Mentally and intellectually, honestly, intellectually, Japan's crazy. I'm learning a new culture, a new language. There's a lot of things that I would say are mentally and intellectually stimulating, and there's just a lot of things to learn. And so I think on the mental, intellectual stance, I've been, maxed out almost every day. I was like writing in my journal here that I don't think I've ever felt more mentally, yeah, exhausted and full than like being here in Japan language learning. It feels like I'm hitting my max mentally almost not every day, but a lot of my days here. And that definitely has not been true, honestly, any time in my life. Um, but there's something satisfying about that of knowing that, okay, I put in a good day's work. My mind is actually at capacity. Um, and so, yeah, I just have had to navigate when's the best time to language study, when's a good time to call it quits, all these things so that I can work with, yeah, what my brain is capable of at the moment. And then spiritually, one sweet part of my support raising season was prayer walks. That has been a super big way in which God has become really close to me, and I feel like I have grown close with the Lord. But here in Tokyo, prayer walks aren't really that peaceful, at least for me. I get super distracted and there's always people and you're never really alone in the city. And there's no Indian Creek Trail for you to just like walk down and, be in nature and, be chill basically. And so very quickly I realized that that just couldn't fully translate here. But what has kind of replaced that has been prayer journaling. Um, yeah, I've really been enjoying that type of just conversation with the Lord. And I'm definitely someone that needs some sort of yeah, device basically to help keep my mind concentrated on what I'm praying through. And so prayer drilling has, yeah, really come back into my life in a really amazing way. So that's been really sweet. I'm currently in kind of a 12-week study over James, and that has been super applicable to my life of just talking about just the nitties and gritties of what it looks like to live every single day with action that points to a real faith. And yeah, when I'm in a season of language learning and yeah, sometimes it doesn't feel like I'm doing some of those external things and I'm not, going out and meeting people every single day. And all I do is like put my head down in the books. I feel like James has been a great way that God has been reframing my mind of what it looks like to truly work for him. And I really do believe that language learning is my ministry right now so that I will be able to do these things that I desire, that we desire to do here in Japan and really share the gospel in a high capacity and in an efficient way. And so I think God's been using John in that way, which is amazing. On the evangelism standpoint, all of my like actual true evangelism has kind of been with other foreigners here, just because of the language barrier. But yeah, two notable names in this would be yeah, Louis, which you guys have been really faithful to praying over. But yeah, Louis, and then his friend John, who's still here, and we can go more into that. But yeah, those are kind of the two guys that I really God has had and still is putting into my life to share the gospel with consistently. And then once seeing them come to Christ, really spend time discipling them and raising them up and preparing them for whether it was to go to Thailand and then to go to the Netherlands, or right now, John's still here and preparing to go back to the States. I feel like God really has blessed me with them. And yeah, it really is exciting to prepare and equip young men um, to go and share the gospel and be a light in this world and to truly just see men come from death to life. And I feel very privileged to have a job that is what I get to see and pray for almost every day. And then in the evangelism standpoint, also classmates. A lot of my classmates are internationals or foreigners as well. And so we all speak English. And yeah, I'm not always sitting someone down and walking them through the whole gospel, but I am sharing, yeah, what my job is and why I'm here and why I want to learn language and all of these things. I feel like that has been an amazing bridge for, yeah, deep spiritual conversations. And I do believe God has been using that in some amazing ways. So that's the evangelism category. So that was super long, but that's like how I've been doing. And those are kind of some highlights of, yeah, what my life has looked like this past half year. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to share also things that have been harder about my life. I think it's sometimes easy on newsletters for me to want to put up a front and only share all the good things. It almost feels like a social media post, like, oh, I gotta, put my best foot forward and show and tell you guys that I'm doing good. But in reality, there have been things that are harder here, things that I think God's been revealing of just my sin. And yeah, one of those big ways has just been comparison. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of things to compare here, whether it's to people on our team and their language, or to people at my language school and their ability to pick up things faster. Um, yeah, it's really easy to feel lesser than, and I think that's a big lie that the enemy tries to use on a consistent basis to try and, yeah, snuff out what God has been doing in my life. But also outside of a language capacity, I would say, yeah, comparison to just Japan. Japan is um, a country that really values conformism and unity in looks, style, walk, like whatever it is. And let me tell you, I'd be sticking out crazy here. Not only height wise, looks wise, but language and my thoughts on things. Everything seems to be different about me here. And as if being a stranger and a foreigner and not speaking the language wasn't enough, being 6'4" and being a head taller than everyone here really kind of puts a target on your back for just being different. Okay, now we're going to transition into kind of the goals that we talked about at our launch party. Also, why am I holding my mic like this? This is zest. The goals that we set for these 2 years and agreed upon are as follows. Number one was that there would be more of God and less of us throughout these 2 years. And that was based off of Luke 9:23 and 24. The second one was to serve sacrificially, that we as a team would serve each other and our community in a sacrificial way, and that's based off of Mark 10:45. And our third one was that we would work hard, and that was based off of Galatians 6:9 through 10. And yeah, just as a checkup, man, with a clear conscience, I do believe that I've been living in those, and God has allowed me to accomplish some of those things. But next, what we prayed for. So, if you guys remember at the end of our launch party, if you guys were there, we spent time in prayer. We kind of went in groups at our tables and we prayed over 4 prayer points. And also, you guys have just been so faithful to praying, whether it is prayer points on the newsletters or reaching out individually and asking me for just any specific prayer requests. We have some prayer warriors on this team. And so I have just benefited tremendously from your guys' prayers and intercession to the Lord. And yeah, I hope you know that I don't take that lightly. And I really feel, yeah, the power of those prayers being answered here in Japan. And so I am super grateful for those prayers. But what we prayed at that launch party was God to just use this team as a vessel that He uses to reach Japan. And I would say that that has become true. Not only in my life through Louis and John, but there's a man named Tayo that I would like to share a little bit about. Tayo is a senior at Waseda University, one of the universities we're at, and he came to church because he was invited by one of his friends that also comes to our church. And he pulled up and was already spiritually interested and was followed up by some of our staff people and has now not only accepted Christ, but has been baptized. And so Tayo is now in a Bible study at our church. And yeah, that is the story of death to life. That is like why we're here. And I feel like Tayo is currently so hungry and really just growing in a lot of amazing ways. And that is exactly what we prayed for. And that kind of wraps up the, second section of, yeah, recap on how God has been following up on kind of this launch party 6 months, 7 months after. So on to the next. This is where we're at right now. Currently, I'm in the last beginner class of our school, beginner 6, that's what it's called. And then I'll move on to intermediate. So that means we're at least moving forward, which is good. But this will be story time with Grant in Japanese. But I wanted to share with you guys, they have Magic Tree House. Not sure if you can see that. Magic Tree House in Japanese here. So I've been practicing reading in Japanese, reading children's books. So that's been great. I've also been trying to memorize verses in Japanese. Someone on our team made these amazing flashcards for scripture memory. And these are the 2 that I've recently memorized. We've got Romajin Eno Tagami, Sansho Niju San Setsu, which is Romans 3:23, which says, you can read right here. Suite no hito wa tsumi o okashite kami no eko o ukeru koto ga dekizu, which is for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. For all have sinned. Sin kanji wa tsumi, right here, this one. Tsumi is the sin kanji, and then kami is God. Kami no eko is like God's glory. So like against God's glory. But kami, when you're talking about someone higher or someone of really high importance, you just put sama at the end of it. So most of the time in worship or prayer, you always basically hear kami-sama. So kami-sama wa God in English. Kami-sama. Okay. Now it's time to make a fool of myself. I'm gonna read about John and his part-time job. Oh my gosh. Dropped a paper. Here we go. This is where we're at right now. This is Tensho talking to John. Tensho is like the store manager. John, 今日は森田くん、風邪で来られないそうだ。夕方になると忙しくなるから頼むよ。はい、頑張ります。まず、冷蔵庫に野菜が入っているから、足し、出しておいて、それから、外の電気はついている？いえ、ついていません。つけましょうか？うん。そこのスイッチを押すと、何押すとつくよ。はい。That was super choppy, but basically, if I'm understanding this correctly, is basically John's manager telling him that the vegetables in the fridge, what's happening in the vegetables in the fridge? Oh, he needs to like take them out to prepare them. Yeah, he's at his part-time job. He needs to prepare the vegetables. Um, and then he's asking about a light, and she says you just need to turn the switch on. Silly John. But that's where we're at right now. But now, 今、日本語だけ。OK。今、僕の日本語はとても下手だけど、毎日日本語を勉強しています。漢字と文法と単語、いろいろなこ、ことを練習しています。でも、僕の家族は、皆さ皆さんはアベンジャーズ。アベンジャーズはめちゃめちゃ強いと思います。僕のあ家族日本では、うん、僕の、同僚、はい。あ仕事はストゥーモだけど、あ会社員は、仕事と日本語を勉強しています。毎日、時々、時々、大学生に行って、日本語を喋って、あライヌを、あ何ライヌ、ライヌを使っていました。はい。今日、走りた。それから今、僕の足はちょっと安くない何強くない。僕は、out of shape。out of shape。日本語はわかりません。だけど、大丈夫。OK。以上で。That's basically what I couldn't really think of other things I could say that was kind of on the spot. But basically just what I said is, okay, it's time to speak in Japanese only. I went through kind of talking about, okay, I study Japanese in different parts of Japanese, the kanji, the grammar, whatever, every single day. And then what else did I say? Oh, I meet with uh college students and I talk with them and we used Line, which is like the messaging app. Then I said I went on a run today and my legs are not strong. Um, so I'm out of shape. That's what the out of shape part was. But that's kind of where we're at right now. I feel like I probably could have put on a better show of what I could do in Japanese, but that's where we're at. I'm currently in a season where I'm trying to have more output, just speak more with friends. And so, yeah, I have currently kind of two Japanese guys that I meet with on a weekly basis. And we just speak Nihongo dake uh, for 1時間半 gurai, like, for about like an hour and a half. I don't know why I'm switching back to Japanese. I'm sorry. Sumimasen. But Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Um, Wanting to just be better at using the grammar and things I'm learning in class. Um, but that's basically it. That's wrapping up this way too long of a video. And if you made it to the end, make sure you, what do they say? Smash that subscribe button, hit a like, drop a comment, share, follow, do